Hello everybody! So today I'm making a tutorial on what is digestion as it was requested by one of your classmates. Okay, so let's look at this one. What exactly is digestion? So as you can see here, this already shows you what digestion is exactly. It is when food is broken down, okay? Broken down into really tiny molecules. And why is that? So that it can be absorbed into your bloodstream, okay? If the food is not broken down into molecular level, then it's impossible. Can you imagine one piece of chicken nugget trying to get into your bloodstream? It's impossible, okay? So that is why we need digestion. It's to break down food so that it can be made into things that's useful to our body like glucose, amino acids, and fatty acids. And that can only happen when it is digested, okay? So there are two types of digestion, okay? One is physical digestion and the other one is chemical digestion. Now, what's the difference? Physical digestion uses the body parts. For example, your teeth, okay, and your muscles, okay? And it's used to move the food around from one part of your digestive system to the other. Now, chemical digestion uses enzymes, okay? And enzymes are chemicals in your body that help break down the food even further than what the physical digestion can do, okay? So now let's look at the next slide. So as we discussed in class, okay, digestion starts in the mouth, okay, over here. And the two types of digestion happens here, okay? One is the physical digestion, which uses your teeth and your tongue, okay? Teeth to break down food, the tongue to move the food around your mouth. And this is called chewing, okay? And what is our science word for chewing? Mastication, okay? But aside from that, chemical digestion also happens because in your saliva, there is an enzyme called amylase. Okay? And amylase, we will find out later, is what breaks down starch in your mouth into simple sugars such as glucose. Okay? So after that, okay, we swallow the food and it goes down the esophagus, okay? And again, how does it go down? It goes down because of physical digestion, okay? It is the muscle movement when the muscle contracts and relaxes, thereby pushing the food down until it reaches your stomach, okay? Now, in the stomach, two types of digestion happens again. One is physical digestion because the stomach contracts and relaxes. Okay? It contracts and relaxes. There you go. Relaxes. In order to move the food around. Okay? So it squeezes so the food moves around and it's broken down into tinier pieces. Okay? But also chemical digestion also happens in your stomach, okay? Because of two things. First of all, you have the stomach acid, okay? And we said the stomach acid is hydrochloric acid, or you can call it gastric juices, okay? Gastric juices. It's also called stomach acid, okay? But we know it also as hydrochloric acid, okay? Or HCl, okay? And as we discussed in class, the biggest reason, okay, why our stomach is not dissolved by the hydrochloric acid is because the lining of the stomach, inside the stomach, you have a protective layer of mucus. that protects your stomach from damage. Okay? Now, again, there is another enzyme that's released in the stomach. It's protease. Okay? So aside from hydrochloric acid, another enzyme released in the stomach is protease. Okay? Which breaks down proteins. Okay? Okay, so now after the stomach, the food now goes into the small intestines. Now, once again, there are two types of digestion happening here. Physical digestion, because your small intestine contracts and relaxes to push the food along, or else it's going to get stuck. Okay? So there's physical digestion, the contraction and relaxation. We call that peristalsis. Okay? Pushes the food along. There is also chemical digestion. Okay? Because protease, okay? Protease is also released in the small intestines as well as lipase. Okay? So protease and lipase are released in the small intestines. Protease to dissolve or to break down amino acids, and lipase to break down fats. Okay? So after that, okay, the food is pushed into the large intestines. Okay? And it's large because it's wide. If we talk about length of intestines, the small intestines definitely much longer, 5 to 7 meters. Okay? While the large intestines about 1 meter. But it's called large intestines because, as you can see here, it is wider. Okay? Now, what happens in the large intestines? Digestion is done. We are now approaching, the waste part. Okay? So what happens in the large intestine? Excess liquid, okay? Excess liquids like water is absorbed by your body. So that's why your feces or your poop becomes drier, because the excess liquid is absorbed in the large intestine. So that's why when it gets to your rectum, okay, you already have sort of solidified feces. Now, let me spell that out. Feces is the scientific term for poop. Okay? So, it stays in here for a day or two, waiting for more feces to collect. And then, when it's full, you will feel that tummy moment when you need to go to the toy or toilet. Okay? And it exits through the anus. Okay? So that is the process of digestion from the mouth all the way down out of the anus. Okay, how food becomes feces and how food is further digested through physical and chemical digestion, and then how it becomes useful nutrients for our body. Okay, so let's go here, the next page. Okay, we have enzymes. So let's look at the enzymes. The first enzyme we learned about in school was called amylase. Okay? And amylase is found in your saliva. And it's used to break down starch into simple sugars, which we call glucose. Okay? Next we have protease. And protease is found in, if you remember, the stomach and the small intestines. Okay? And what does it break down? Protease, proteins. Okay? And it makes it into amino acids, which is useful to build your muscles. Okay? Then we have, lipase. Okay? Which is found in the small intestines. And it breaks down fats. And our scientific term for fat is lipids. Okay? So when you see the word lipids, it means fat. Okay? And what does it break down the fat into? Into fatty acids and glycerol. Okay? Now, there's one more box here. Actually, it's not supposed to be an enzyme, okay? But I just add it here because you might be curious. So this is not an enzyme. Let's just put this over here. Not an enzyme. Not an enzyme. Some of you might be wondering why the liver is usually, see? Why is it included in the digestive system? The liver, okay, the liver does not produce an enzyme. Doesn't produce an enzyme, okay? What does it produce? It makes bile, okay? And why is bile important? Because it helps digest the fat, okay? That's the reason why we add the liver, because it releases bile that helps digest fat. Okay? So just to summarize everything, okay? So we have digestion. There's physical digestion and chemical digestion. And we know physical digestion is chewing and also movement of the muscles. Not only the stomach, but also, okay, and intestines. Okay? Now, chewing is happening in the mouth with your teeth and your tongue. Okay? Chemical is in your stomach with your gastric juices and with enzyme. Now, pepsin is a type of protease. Okay? So it's the same thing. Pepsin, and this pepsin is a type of protease. Okay? But we're just calling everything protease. Okay? And amylase breaks down starch. Protease breaks down protein. And lipase breaks down fat. Okay? And everything is in this table over here. Okay? So, that is the summary of the digestive system. So you know everything from the different, from what digestion is used for, to break down foods so that they can be absorbed into the blood. You know the two types of digestion, physical digestion and chemical digestion. Okay, you know the process where it starts in the mouth and where it ends in the anus and what happens in between. And then you know the different enzymes that we're looking at, amylase, protease, and lipase. Take note, liver does not produce an enzyme, but it makes bile, which helps digest fat. Okay? And lastly, we summarized the process of digestion, okay, to break down food using physical and chemical means. And physical means chewing and using the stomach muscles and the intestines, contraction and relaxation, and chemical in your stomach, gastric juices, plus the enzymes. Okay, so hopefully this makes the digestive system clearer to you. If you have any questions, you can ask me when we see each other in class. Okay, bye-bye.